everybody. Thank you for being so patient. This is Abhyuday Agarwal, co-founder and CEO of LawSikho. Today we are having a very exciting session on why every lawyer needs to improve their reading speed and how you can enhance your reading speed by 3 times. Okay, in how many hours? 3 hours. Our goal today is for you to enhance your reading speed by 3x. Okay, so before we get into that, let's just understand a few things. I want to share a few things from my life, okay? And as to when I experienced the importance of speed reading, how did it go for me? So, this is the presentation. At first, when I don't know if this resonates with you, but when I was in class 10, okay, I was studying in a convent school in Bombay. And this was like I was in St. Mary's ISC, and convent schools are really known for their students having good English skills. They're being fluent, and all of that. So yeah, and I speak in English and Hindi. So my English was good. I had मेरी grammar अच्छी थी. मैं सब लोगों से meaningfully communicate कर पाता था, अच्छे से बात और मेरी ग्रामर सही थी, बोलने में अच्छा था, लिख पाता था, ऐसे राइटिंग में अच्छे नंबर आते थे। ठीक है, तो कभी कभी क्लास में टीचर पढ़ के सुनाती थी सबको, एक आध बार मतलब 9 on 10, 10 on 10 टाइप्स आए थे। और कॉन्वेंट्स में क्या होता है ना, एक पर्टिकुलर तरीका होता है पढ़ाने का। उसमें व्हाट हैपेंस इज दे विल टीच यू टेक्निकल रूल्स ऑफ ग्रामर पे कम फोकस होता है। बट हाँ, वो लोग ऐसे बोलते हैं कि इफ यू आर राइटिंग इट करेक्टली वो समझ आएगा। मतलब दे आर सपोज टू मेक यू प्रैक्टिस सो मच कि बिना ग्रामर का सोचे आप सही से लिख सको और सही से कम्युनिकेट कर सको। अब जैसे आज आप अगर कोई फॉरेन लैंग्वेज सीखोगे, जर्मन सीखोगे या फ्रेंच सीखोगे, तो आप डायरेक्टली कम्युनिकेट करना नहीं सीखोगे। आप सीखोगे ग्रामर के रूल्स कैसे हैं, क्या है, और फिर आप वोकैबुलरी सीखोगे और फिर आप सेंटेंस कंस्ट्रक्शन सीखोगे। तो क्या है कि उसमें कॉन्वेंट स्कूल में ऐसे नहीं पढ़ाते हैं, वो सीबीएसई में ऐसे पढ़ाते थे। जब मैंने प्राइमरी स्कूल में सीबीएसई में पढ़ाई की थी तो वहां पर पूरा एक एक चीज ब्रेक डाउन करके पढ़ाते थे। प्रेपोजिशन, नाउन, कंजंक्शन, हर चीज को ऐसे ब्रेक डाउन करके स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज ऐसे समझाते थे। बट कॉन्वेंट में ऐसे नहीं था। ठीक है, बट करते करते ऐसे लगता था कि वी आर वेरी गुड, हमें बहुत अच्छे से इंग्लिश आता है और मैं अच्छे से लिख लिख और समझ सकता था। अब क्या हुआ कि मैं स्कूल में टॉपर था, तो क्लास 10 में मैं सेकंड आया था अपने स्कूल में, 94.3% आए थे मेरे। तो अभी क्या है कि सारे जगह पर, मेरे कॉलोनी में भी, माई डैड वॉज इन द रेवेन्यू सर्विस, इनकम टैक्स में ही वॉज इन अ सीनियर पोजिशन, एंड गवर्नमेंट कॉलोनी में भी। सो एवरीबडी सपोज टू बी वेरी स्मार्ट, दे आर लाइक चिल्ड्रन ऑफ गवर्नमेंट ऑफिसर, सब ऑफिसर्स जो हमारी कॉलोनी में थे, उन्होंने भी हाईली कंपेटिटिव एग्जाम क्रैक किया था। उनके बच्चे भी अच्छे स्कूल्स में जा रहे थे, तो दे वर द ब्राइटेस्ट। उन्होंने पब्लिक सर्विस एग्जाम, यूपीएससी एग्जाम क्रैक करके इंडियन रेवेन्यू सर्विस में गए हैं। तो नेचुरली दे आर ऑल्सो कंपेटिटिव, दे वांट देयर चिल्ड्रन ऑल्सो टू डू वेल। तो बहुत ज्यादा कंपेटिटिव एनवायरमेंट था मेरे से। अब एक्सपेक्टेशंस बहुत ज्यादा थी। अच्छा, स्कूल में सेकंड आए हो तो फिर तुमको अच्छी जगह मतलब कुछ फॉरेन कॉलेज में जाना चाहिए, हार्वर्ड वगैरह, आईवी लीग में जाना चाहिए, जो भी बेस्ट कोई कर रहा है। वो एक्सपेक्टेशंस आपके बैचमेट से भी रहेगी, आपके पीयर से रहेगी, पेरेंट्स से रहेगी, नेबर से रहेगी, आपको खुद। मेरे को ऐसे खुद था कि अच्छा मैंने अच्छा नहीं किया तो इट विल बी बैड, राइट? लाइक लोग मेरे बारे में क्या सोचेंगे, ऐसे आ जाता है क्योंकि इतना प्रेशर होता है। पेरेंट्स से तो ऑब्वियसली था कि इट वाज वेरी क्लियर फ्रॉम माय डैड कि आई शुड मेक माय ओन लाइफ आफ्टर 20 और 25, विच वॉज ऑब्वियसली सेड इन वेरी गुड इंटेंशन, क्योंकि 20 से 25 के बीच में आई शुड ऑब्वियसली, एनी इंडिविजुअल शुड फिगर आउट देयर करियर कि उनको क्या करना है। तो वो तो सही इंटेंशन से था, बट मैं उस चीज के बारे में सोचने लगा था 15 साल की उम्र में, और उस समय फिर काफी प्रेशर का फीलिंग आ रहा था। ठीक है, तो और मेरे बैचमेट्स भी बोलते थे कि दिस गाय इज अ ब्रेन। साउथ बॉम्बे लैंग्वेज 15 साल पहले ऐसे ही होता था कि आप स्मार्ट हो तो बोलेंगे आप यू आर अ ब्रेन। अभी बोलते हैं कि और अ स्टड, कुछ भी बोलते हैं, स्टड, मूटर, इस टाइप का एक स्पेसिफिक वर्ड होता है ना, उसमें एकदम पूरा प्रेस्टीज फील होता है उसको अगर कोई बोलता है तो आई फेल्ट वेरी एक्साइटेड। वन ऑफ माई बैचमेट्स स्कूल से कि यार तुम तो हार्वर्ड क्रैक कर लोगे, तुम तो इतने स्मार्ट हो। ठीक है, फिर अब सोचते हैं कि मेरे बैचमेट्स कर क्या रहे थे उस समय। तो 10 जब क्रॉस हुआ ना, तब सारे मेरे बैचमेट्स, वो बहुत रिच थे सारे। मेरे डैड गवर्नमेंट सर्विस में थे, लेकिन मेरे सारे बैचमेट्स साउथ बॉम्बे में, मतलब 80% क्लास साउथ बॉम्बे की मोस्ट एफ्लुएंट पॉपुलेशन से थी। इंडिया की मोस्ट एफ्लुएंट पॉपुलेशन आप मान सकते हो, कि रिचेस्ट पॉपुलेशन। ठीक है, तो अब ये सब लोग ने क्या किया, 10th के एग्जाम देने के बाद दे स्टार्टेड मेकिंग प्लान्स कि हमें यूएस में कॉलेज जाना है, उसके लिए हमको, और उन सब के पास इतना पैसा था कि अगर कॉलेज में एडमिशन हो जाए तो वो अपना खुद का ट्यूशन अफोर्ड कर सकते हैं। ठीक है, तो फॉर देम इट वाज लाइक कि एज लॉन्ग एज एडमिशन मिल जाए बहुत है। तो उन्होंने चालू कर दिया कोचिंग लेना। स्कॉलास्टिक एप्टीट्यूड टेस्ट है, सैट इसका नाम। इसमें उन्होंने कोचिंग लेना चालू कर दिया। आप लोगों को मालूम है, डू यू गाइस नो दिस अबाउट दिस टेस्ट? ऑल्सो ये भी बता दो, शुड आई कंटिन्यू स्पीकिंग इन English or bilingual? Sometimes people say bilingual only, so I read and I speak in both languages. But if you say pure English, I'm happy to do that. Okay. Okay, a lot of you want in English, so most of the times I will speak in English and sometimes in Hindi. Okay, so they started taking coaching for the scholastic aptitude test. Now 11 12, for class 11 12 students now, it's a big business in Mumbai. In for It's a big business to coach 11th and 12th students after cracking their 10th exam on going to college in US. Okay, so you have a 2-year period, because 11 12 you will do in India, but your undergrad will be in Mumbai. Okay, so today there's a majority of you saying that you want me to speak in pure full English, so I will stick to full English. Okay, no this thing, no bilingual. Okay, so I could not afford the tuition of a US college for undergrad. I wasn't also interested. I didn't want to waste so much money of my parents, like 50 lakhs types or 1 crore for 1 year of learning in US. Okay. So I didn't want to spend that, but yeah, I was happy if I get a scholarship, that would be fabulous. But my parents said that, okay, you see where you stand, because even if you don't go abroad now, later you may have to crack GMAT, you may have to crack GRE. These exams are there for various kinds of postgraduate qualifications. So he said, you check where you stand, because sometime or the other it will be important. And also see if you can get a scholarship in one of these good US colleges, then it is great. I can then send you abroad. Right, so I decided, chalo, let's give the scholastic aptitude test. And one of my juniors later on, I came to know, and I was like, always I was thinking that this guy is so smart, how can I be that smart? He used to live in the same colony as us. He was a son of Indian Revenue Service officer. His dad was in the government service, but he did undergrad from Harvard on full scholarship. Okay, and every time, like when I see his pictures today, he's like traveling all the time at very interesting locations in UK, Europe, America. So like he did his undergrad in Harvard, so I knew that I had this feeling that I want to also get really good marks on in the SAT test. Okay, now what happens for any Indian student, they say, is we struggle with one area, which is we are good at maths, but English is the difficult part. And English, why? Because it's not just vocabulary, because vocabulary you can mug up, but comprehension is difficult, verbal reasoning is difficult, right? Yeah, Sumati, very good. Someone got 1600, right? 1600 means 1560 upwards means you can get Ivy League. Okay. So now this was the challenge for me, that how do I improve my English? So what do? Usually we buy our books from the market, right? So I bought textbook for SAT, GRE, GMAT, and CAT exam also. Various Indian authors were there because CAT exam is there. SAT, GRE, GMAT, all foreign books. Kaplan, Barron's, all of these, the standard ones. Okay. But you know what I found in them? They said that if they were fat books, at least 500-600 pages, sometimes 800 pages. They said that you can increase your reading speed only by 40 to 100 points. So if I get a 1400, I can get a 1500. But what do we go to books for? In college, I was, or in school, if you studied calculus, if you studied bio, you will go from 0 to 100, right? Matlab, school marks are like that. If you didn't study the syllabus, you may get a 0. But if you study the syllabus, you should get a full, right? If you are able to study and retain. But here what they said is that despite buying the book, they said that you will only increase what you have by 40 to 100 points. I was like, what is this? This is some cosmetic surgery. What if I need to increase it by 500 points? Then what happens? Okay, because this is cosmetic surgery, polishing. It is not improving me as a person, and I will not be able to improve my score if I'm already bad. Okay, so then what did they say? For long term, they said you have to keep reading and practicing, and you have to read a variety of information over a period of time. Now, even back then, it was very difficult to interpret. Like, how will I read a variety of books? how much time I have to read, how do I practice comprehension, how do I build my speed, all this was not there anywhere. Okay, no method was prescribed in these books. There was no timeline how long it takes. Should I keep out 2 hours a day? Should I keep out 3 hours a day? Can they tell me a reading list of books to read so that I can do SAT difficulty level or GMAT or GRE difficulty level papers? No, none of that was there. No market standard was clarified to me. So I didn't have that kind of time. Exam was due in 50 days. Okay, now 40 to 100 40 to 100 points I can improve if I learn all the words. I decided to mug up all the words. I didn't have the best quality of guidance, and I thought, okay, let me do vocabulary and comprehension. Whenever I used to try, I used to get super nervous, and my reading speed used to fall. If I can read at 300 now, on a normal day or on an average day, 300 words per minute, if you start testing me and I know there's a timer in the corner of my screen, what will happen? I will jump, I will fall to 150 words, 200 words. Okay, because it's a test scenario. This is similar to playing any sport. Your best match practice is going to be in the nets. Okay, and only if you've practiced very well in the nets, you will perform a fraction of that in a real match. If you don't have net practice, you haven't practiced to play a century in the nets, you will not make it in the match. Who agrees with that? If it takes you 6 hours of batting to make a century in the match, then you have to have had that much practice in the nets. If you practice for only half an hour or 1 hour, you will get tired, and it is not possible that you will make a century in a cricket match. Does it make sense? Yeah. And how many of you can relate to this, that the whole nervousness comes up? Now somebody is measuring my speed. Like, for example, even fitness bands are very good to measure your sleep quality, but sometimes if I'm not getting sleep, if I wear a fitness band, I get anxiety that, Arey, now this one is tracking me. Why can't I just go to sleep and wake up when I need to? Right? So now exam was due in 50 days, and I had to then figure out what I do. So I kept reading the book. But you know what score I got? 1400. Now, what is the point of reattempting also? Because the book is saying 1340 I can get, or I can get 1400. Both are like, from a scholarship perspective, Ivy League perspective, it is terrible. Okay, this is like I got 1300 or 1360. So this is like a good US student, and very average score from Indian perspective, because you need to migrate and get scholarships. So just a little above average. There were people in my college, some of my in my school, some of my seniors who had easily gotten 1540, 1560, right? So now that's what I had needed actually, and I didn't get it. So what happened after that? I could have got admission in a good US college, but my parents would have had to pay the fees. Not worth it. No scholarships, no Ivy League, right? So this is basically one bright future to Tata bye bye to one bright future. I gave up the goal of studying abroad back then. So I had three career options when I cracked class 10. IIT and all of that, stopped it because it felt like a rat race. I saw in the newspapers that people in NLS are getting 10 lakh salaries. Okay, which was actually almost as much as what an IIM or IIT grad was getting in India if they got an Indian job. Okay, and if they are getting 1 crore job in US, that is not equivalent to a 1 crore job in India. That is equal to much less, because you can buy much more with that money in India, but abroad you can't buy so much. So their actual salaries were still lower, like maybe 20 lakhs, if you convert in for currency in India. So what happened for me was that I gave up IIT goal, then I gave up SAT goal also. I can't go abroad and study. Then I came to my third goal. What is that? That is to become a lawyer. Okay. And guess what happens when I decide to become a lawyer? Every day I will have to read as much as I have to read for a GMAT or a CAT exam or a GRE exam or an SAT exam. So the real problem that I have to deal with about reading and comprehension doesn't go away. Right. So I had to sit for the major NLU entrance tests. At that time, you didn't have CAT. CAT was not there. So my LST teacher, I was taking career launcher law school tutorials training back then. Okay, and my LST teacher had cracked CAT multiple times. He used to sit for exams and just test his reading speed, and he would test how fast he can do a problem. Okay, and he said that anybody who has to crack a competitive exam must read voraciously. He used to give examples that of people who used to. He said that the fastest readers in the world read at around 2,000 words per minute. Okay, and he 2000 to 2500, and he could himself read between 1000 and 1500 words per minute. Those numbers were huge. Okay, so now I'm not a fast reader. I read at 200 to 300 words. This is standard, okay? If you'll test your reading speed today, we'll do an exercise to check your baseline reading speed, which means what is your current reading speed right now. Okay, so you will realize that it would likely be falling somewhere in between 200 to 300. Okay, and then the goal will be ramp it up to 900. We'll try for 900. Okay, so every time I had to read a comprehension, my reading speed would go lower. So how would I improve? As a lawyer, I had committed to a lifetime of reading. Okay, if I didn't improve my reading, I am gone. So some of you may have seen my LinkedIn post where I had put in my results and I had got 600 words per minute speed. Now that is where it came up with practice, right? Now today I'm going to share a method with you which will enable you to reach, double at least of what you are. So you will try for 900, you get 900, great. Otherwise still double, we'll see what you get. Okay, now, in the first year of law school, I'll share what happened. We had volumes to read for projects. We have a big NUJS library where we have to read those original textbooks written by very serious authors. Sometimes you will read Constitutional Law by Durgadas Basu. You will read Chitty on Contracts. These are fat books, right? And you have to write 5,000 word projects. That's what the system was back then for each of our subjects. So first year was crazy. So much had to be read and then so much had to be written. Reading time is separate, understanding is separate, and then writing the project is separate. While studying sociology, again a lot of new stuff has to be written. Okay, then legal history of India was another ball game. Our history teacher was actually son of a very famous historian. Okay, and he had studied in Oxford, and he said that you have to read a lot. And he used to tell us this book to read, go to this library to read, spend time reading these books in the library. My god, it was crazy. And he used to not read from the history textbooks that you get. You have a MPJ also, and all of these on legal and constitutional history of India. You can easily read it, mug it up, and then crack and then give the exam. But he said, don't read the actual books, the long fat books on every little theme. It was impossible to read so much. We were flooded with English and Indian judgments on tort law and contracts also. We had torts and contracts. These were law subjects in the first year. So we had to read a lot of Indian court judgments and English also. And in English House of Lords judgments, you usually had all the judges writing separate decision, right? So if you tell me what is the ratio, if I have to figure out, I have to read all the judgments, right? And then I have to underline what is common to all the judgments. Then I have to understand whether they're exactly saying the same thing or if it's different. Because if they're saying if they are arriving at the same conclusion but through a different reasoning, that will not be the ratio. Agreed? All of you know about ratio and obiter. If the judges use, I have to find the common reasoning that the judges are using, and if they don't use a common reasoning, I am gone, right? Balaji, I am a 2011 graduate from NUJS. I worked for a year as a corporate lawyer in a Bombay based in the Bombay office of a tier 1 law firm, Trilegal, and then I quit in 2012 to start working full time on legal education. Okay. Second year, more problems my way. Constitutional law came, right? Constitutional law judgments are huge. If you want to practice in the high courts and especially in the Supreme Court, you have to be a master of constitutional law, right? A lot of Supreme Court work is writs and SLPs. So you will have to know constitutional law really well. If you want to crack the advocate on record exam, constitutional law is a must. Okay, most of these judgments were huge. In third year, I did another thing. I took up sports law, and our faculty would frequently require us to read. There is this whole anti-doping jurisprudence in sports law. Okay, where the World Anti-Doping Agency will check that if this player won the Olympic gold medal, was this person on any prohibited drug? And you don't have to consume like drugs, even pharmaceutical drugs can be prohibited substances. Sometimes Disprin for a headache can be something which you can't have before an Olympic or a professional sports competition. If you have that medicine and then you win the gold medal, and it could be in your system for another 2 weeks to a month, and if that's found out, you will be stripped of your medal. And we had to read all those voluminous cases of 50 pages or more in this every day. Okay, every day we have class, we have to read this. Okay, and this was crazy. That is where speed reading started to come to my rescue. Okay, we also had jurisprudence. Again, here we can't read Jhabwala, we can't read Bangia. We have to read the Harvard Law Review article of Hart. Okay, Hart Fuller debate. We have to read Dworkin's book. We have to read Rawls book. These are there in the library. A lot of the texts are also available on the internet for free. But they said no jhabia, no jhabwala, no bangya, no salmon. All of these jhabwala, bangya, salmon will explain the concept in a very beautiful, simplified way. But you will not get so much depth of the argument. You will get the concept, but you will not get it at a very advanced level, right? You all have read this, so you all are aware. How many of you have ever looked at one or two of the original texts of these jurists? Dworkin, Hart, Rawls, you have, right? And you understand that, it's always so much easier. 10 pages, I'll read a Salmond, or I'll read I think there was a Rickard or something on jurisprudence, which we used to read. So that will just simplify life so much, no? But no, we have to read this. Top law school, you have to do that. Most of us struggled. And why? Because simply the volume of text is so much. Then it is dense. Nobody is saying things clearly. A, B, C, D, 1 plus 1 equal to 2. No, they will say 1 plus 1 equal to 3.5 because of this. And in these situations, it doesn't apply, and all of that. And a lot of subjectivity in all these texts. Yeah. So, how many of you now? This is one issue. Okay. This was happening. Most of us were struggling. Then there were other manifestations we saw. Some students used to study really hard, read all the time, study all the time. Others used to make voracious notes. And what a lot of others used to do, we used to borrow the notes. We used to study a lot less, last minute, borrow the notes, crack the exam. But there were everybody. If I ask you, how many of you remember people used to study really hard, but you are always surprised? Why are they not getting the marks they deserve? Some of that could have happened with you. You may have studied really hard for subjects and then not gotten the marks you deserve. This happened for me in first year, right? You decided to study really hard. You used to study really hard, or your friends studied really hard, but they never topped. They never, got really good marks. And you'd think, what is wrong? His best friend took his notes and he got more than him. How does he know more, right? So what do you think happened? What do you think was at the heart of the problem, right? Peep, are you all able to connect, guys? Keep responding, keep interacting. Okay, yeah. So the thing is that what happened was they were struggling with two things. They were good at studying and making notes, but they were not good at comprehension, and they were not good at retention. Okay, so they were spending hours studying, but comprehension was poor. So there are three things you need to do to be able to learn, study, use effective, to be effective. One is you have to read fast, you have to comprehend. Why do you have to read fast? There is no requirement to read fast in a world where you have infinite time. Do you have infinite time? You don't, right? You have like 10 hours, 12 hours max in a working day to work. So that is very limited time, and you won't be reading all day. You don't get paid for reading. You get paid at work for your actual work, which is communication, drafting a petition, arguing before court, right? So in that case, people, if you reading, comprehension, retention are the first preliminary steps, right? So if you spend all your day reading and don't finish what you have to read, what will happen to your client output? If your client expects a response, a mail, a petition, a draft, what will you end up giving them? This, right? You will give them nothing. Then you will get paid or not? What will your senior say? Where is my work? And you'll say, I am still reading. And they will say, what? That, give it, where is it? I don't have it. So if you can't read fast, comprehension and retention are out of the question. Reading is mandatory. As a corporate lawyer, I want to give you some examples, okay? And then we'll do this exercise also. You will have to work on 3 to 4 transactions at any given point of time. I did that. Ramanuj did that. Anybody who's working in a law firm. Is there anybody working at a law firm? How many transactions do you work on at a given point in time? At least 3 to 4. Okay. Even as a fresh associate. Yeah. Correct. Sometimes if life goes crazy, then 5. Okay, if you're a litigator, then how many matters you have active? You may have like 10, 15 pending petitions, and uh, so 10, 15 clients and stages different. All matters will be at different stages of hearing. So you'll do one piece of work and then you'll go away for 3 months. And then you'll remember when the next date of hearing comes, you have to revise everything, right? Correct, Webber. Even interns, when you first do your internship, we are blown away by the volume of reading we have to do, isn't it? How much we have to read, so many books, so many petitions we have to read. And most of the times, what happens? Why do you think first year, second year, third year, when we do internships, we're really vague about what's happening? You can say lack of knowledge, but one of the biggest problems is also insufficient reading. We can't read all the court petitions because in college you are trained to read judgments, and now when you get to a senior's chamber, you have to read all the petitions, okay, of both parties. At the appellate level, if you are doing high court or supreme court work, you have to read different orders of the courts below, right? High court's order or district court's order, sessions court order, and you have to read the pleadings of the parties, and then you have to separately do case law research. So do you understand? Suddenly, the scope of work has expanded like fourfold or fivefold, 5 times, because in college you were reading judgments. Today you are not reading judgments anymore. Judgments is one thing. You have to read petition, you have to read the other side's response, you have to read all sorts of these documents. Then you have to read the lower court's order. You have to distinguish precedent. For that, you have to read all the precedents. Okay. Yeah. Exceeding deadline because you haven't finished reading case files. Deluge of information. Correct. This happens. Now there's a reason. The reason is reading speed. Okay. That is number one. Now I'm going to tell you, okay, how this expands for a corporate lawyer. Then we'll do it briefly for a litigator. And this I have done in a very short while. I've put this together. So there will be more examples if you think about your work. Okay. Think about this. For a corporate transaction, what do you need to do every day? You have to review transaction documents of multiple, not of multiple sides. Okay. Multiple parties are there in a big transaction. You take an investment, a private equity investment deal, or a syndicate loan transaction. Okay. A syndicate loan transaction, easily, a syndicate loan is what? 500 crore, 1000 crore, 2000 crores being borrowed by a big Indian company, okay, from 6 foreign banks. Okay. Now, for this transaction, you will have 6 to 7 different documents. All of them will be interconnected. Okay. All of them will be interconnected. And each of them, like the biggest parent documents will be about 80, 100, 150 pages long. The others, the market standard template is 80 pages long. Okay. So the first document will be that much. All the others will be again 20, 30, 40 pages long. Okay. And sometimes you have to create them, sometimes you have to review them. So this itself is 400 pages in aggregate for one transaction. Okay. So if you're working on 4 or 5 live transactions, you have to read all the documents, understand, and remember in your mind that this is what I'm working on. Agreed? Now, yeah. Then if you're doing due diligence, lot of you as interns or first year, second year associates have to do due diligence. You have to review all the company's paperwork, all resolutions, all licenses, every meeting minutes, every important board meeting minutes, extraordinary general meeting minutes, various versions of the articles of association. And a company with pan India operations can have 100 rent agreements alone. I was once doing a diligence on one such company as a fourth year student, and this company had agreements like every major city in India. They had rent agreements. Okay, so you have to read every rent agreement was at least 15 to 20 pages because it was a corporate lease. And in one day, then what happens? You're reading 100 agreements, meaning 1500 pages. Okay, then you read other documents, then you read labor licenses, permits, approvals, and you go through email communications from lawyers and parties. You go through regulatory filings, regulatory responses, minutes, resolutions of the companies involved in the transaction. Then you have to stay updated, right? You have to know what is going on. So you have to go through news, regulatory updates, all legal updates. Okay, sometimes a new case, sometimes a new regulation from RBI or SEBI or MCA or IRDA, right? Guys, stay tuned. Okay, there is some really exciting stuff coming. Don't leave right now. Don't leave without performing the exercise and all of that. Okay, there will be a deluge of information through sift through. If you're a litigator, you have to read, comprehend, and actively respond to what? Okay, your own client's pleading. So many times you will have to do that because so many of you are litigators, right? Do you remember everything that was written in the document? Every time a hearing comes, if it comes even after 2 or 3 weeks, you'll have to review and reread your own client's pleadings. You'll have to read the client's facts, which will be really big when you have to make your first pleading. Like there is a parent, my parents have a dispute with the neighbors. The facts for the simplest looking dispute can go really, really complex. Okay, and there is so much facts and documentation to deal with. Okay, so you will have to read those documents, annexures. You will have to read responses of the other party, find holes with that, all interim applications, interim orders, statements and testimony of witnesses. Criminal cases have different documents, civil cases have different documents. Case research you'll have to do and read all the case laws. Yes, Mr. A, that's correct. Most young lawyers and law students are unable to completely go through case files at internships because of this reason. Okay, even young lawyers independently are performing. One of the major reasons you struggle to keep up. Have you felt that you're playing catch up? Your senior is already thinking at another orbit, and every day that happens. You try to read everything. Every day you go like a brave martyr going for a war. You want to fight it out, read, learn everything, observe everything. But you always realize I'm falling short, and my senior is ahead by 20 orbits of magnitude. And you're juggling eggs also. So one thing you capture, the other thing falls. One thing you grasp, the other thing falls. Why? Because reading, you're not used to reading, assimilating a huge amount of information. Okay. So does this explain to you why, despite years of practice or after a month or two of internships, still you may feel clueless? Have you got this feeling? Please let me know. Can you relate to this from your internship experiences or from your experience with seniors? And even in law firms, this happens. Like, my internship at AZB in third year, I was going through syndicate loan agreements. And my God, they were so big. And I used to be given proofreading and punctuation work, but I was delighted. Why? Because I get to read this big agreement and understand the deal. That is why I was delighted. I read those agreements 20, 30 times, but I didn't understand anything properly. Like I understood it in bits and pieces, but I didn't understand everything together. Okay, and that is why I was excited in the first place. But that didn't happen. Why? Because reading and comprehension was poor. I couldn't grasp it. Yeah, Sheroy is saying that you can grasp only after 8 years in litigation now. True, but there are some things you've learned on the fly. Okay, but I am not talking familiarity. I am saying read new material, absorb it. If you could have done that, what is really possible? Okay, now in the next level of development, do you want it to take 8 years, or what if it could take 2.5 years? Right? Now, there's a very valid reason why we struggle. I'm going to give you numbers. Keshav Nanda Bharti judgment, B should be capital, is 4,21,840 words. Okay. The pagination, page numbering is different, but approximately going into 700, 800 pages. Okay. You have to see which reporter. I'm not sure which reporter it is 700 pages in. But official text now, yes, words is accurate. 4,21,800 words. Recent Ayodhya judgment, I'm going to make you practice reading this right now in like 15 minutes, was 3 lakh 141 words. Okay, 3 lakh words. Now let's just compare. Okay, what is the comparison with a regular adult who reads? Your adult fiction books, those novels and all that we read, they are usually between 70,000 to 1,20,000 words. So how much is this Ayodhya judgment in comparison, or Keshav Nanda Bharti? At least 5 to 6 novels. Okay, and we have to read these, yeah, 4 novels, 5 to 6, correct? Yeah, you're comfortable with M&A, but new documents. Tomorrow there's an arbitration on a banking and finance agreement. Then again the arbitration pleadings, interim stay order, interim applications in courts, then the actual banking finance agreements. So what those of you who are saying I've become super fast at what I do, I want you to do the I want you to do the speed reading exercise that we will do now. Is it fine now? My net, is it back? I want you to do the speed reading exercise because you're fast for one reason: familiarity. Okay. And to grow, you will only grow when you're going into unfamiliar spaces, not familiar spaces. Familiar spaces is where you are at today, but that's not for your growth. So, for your growth, you have to read new text, new material that you're not familiar with, which is where your real reading speed comes out. Yeah. Shravan, this is going to be useful for anybody who wants to read faster and read more. Correct. So you have to get out of comfort zone. So you have to read text you're not familiar with, which we will do today. Okay. Now, non-fiction word counts I have shared with you. Can now we should assume as a on a daily basis, if you want to, let's say, work on a seminal paper. Okay. Like professors write 3 4,000 words. If you're really working on papers, you'll write 3 4,000 words every day. Okay, we ourselves write 3 4,000 words if we are working on chapters in a particular course, for which a lot of reading and research is necessary, right? For academic work also, for a petition also, for a great contract, you're researching case laws, you're giving an opinion to a client, you will need at least 1 lakh to 2 lakh words every day. You will need to read. Okay, now I'm not going to tell you why should you read now 2 lakh, if not one. This much you need to read, 1 to 2 lakh words. Okay. Agreed with me or not agreed? One novel, though, you'll have to read in your day's work. You check, you must be reading, you must be needing to read that much. You may not have read that much. Okay, correct. So now the question is that if I'm required to read at least uh, one this thing, 1 lakh words, how long will that take us? At 250 words a minute, I will take 6 hours 40 minutes just to read 1 lakh words. I'm dead with that, right? Like 6 hours 40 minutes in an 8-hour workday, I'll work for what, 1 hour 20 minutes. So 1 hour 20 minutes, I can't produce a document to that a client will be proud of, right? So what will I do? I'll work 5, 6 hours. But so I'll work for 10, 11, 12 hours. But my knowledge, my input and insight will be based on what? 1 lakh words of reading. If I have a hearing day after tomorrow, client says I need a petition today or a contract today, let's focus on first petition for which I need to research. What am I going to do? Because there's an emergency, it's going to compromise on my research. Correct? I'm going to research less. Agreed? Because I have to ship the product no to the client. Otherwise, why will the client pay me? So I'll try to make do with 70, 80,000 words, 1 lakh words. Okay. And then I'll say what seniors know more, they are better. Correct? Legal words are hard to understand. Yeah. So now look at this, okay? Writing and communication time is additional. All the time you keep getting phone calls, somebody from your office, some internship application, something or the other keeps happening. So you take out all of that, 8 hours are gone like that only. So when will you work if all the time is gone reading? Okay. So now if you read a lakh words more, just imagine you can read in the same time 1 lakh more words. What can you do? 3 hours, 20 minutes, you can read 1 lakh words. Now, won't your research be much better? Won't your writing be much better? Won't you write faster because you've understood content better? If you read 2 lakh words or say 1 lakh 50,000 as opposed to somebody who's just read 1 lakh words or who's cut corners and read 80,000 words. Because, and that person will say, what? Is he a bad person? Is he an incompetent person? Is it his fault? Is he a cheat? He's not, right? He's doing his best, but his ability is limited. Correct? His ability is limited to that. And but if you can read 2 lakh words, what's going to happen? You're going to be in full flow. You will have a much better output. You will have some free time. Maybe you were required to read only 1,40,000 words and you've completed it. So you saved a couple of hours, in which what can you do? You can relax, so you can be free from exhaustion. You can have some personal time. You can do some extra work if you feel like. You can have an additional client meeting, bill for it, right? So now look at the implications of reading faster. If you're an average reader, you will take a very long time to read. Managing work, communication, coordination is difficult. How many of you experience this? A lot of you have already started sharing on this. So how many of you really experience this? Yeah, headaches happen, mouth watering to be able to read 2 lakh words. Yeah. So what can you achieve now if your reading speed is doubled? I'm going to give you some examples and then I want you to visualize what happens if your reading speed is doubled, and then we go to the test to do this. Okay. So you can save half the hours at your work with doubling. Okay. And I'm not talking doubling. Doubling is the minimum. You're going to do it 3x or 5x. Okay. Yeah. When you type faster, how's life superb, right? So in 11th, 12th, I used to play a little bit of guitar, which made my little finger really strong and that enabled me to type much faster. I had a picture of the keyboard because of practice, but I was faster typing because of the guitar, because then I could control my fingers much better over the keyboard. They had the strength to do that. Okay, so yeah, and then suddenly, for people, it used to take hours to type, and I'm doing like typing flying, typing not looking at them, and people used to be stunned that you're talking to me, looking at my face in the eye, and typing your message, right? Some people used to get offended because I'm not paying them the attention that's needed. Okay, so how speed reading will improve your comprehension, Sumit? If the point of speed reading is to comprehend, to read with comprehension, okay? You are not, when you're reading at your slow speed, you are not speed reading and you have X comprehension. Now imagine if you're reading 3X with the same comprehension. Yeah? Okay. It's not possible, Rajveer, that the CLAT pattern requires you to read 1 lakh words in 2 hours. You please do the averages. That is impossible. That is even not necessary for UPSC. That's unrealistic. Okay. Just calculate na how much average words you will need for that. Chalo, we'll do that. Okay. Now see, what if you do 2x at 2x speed you are working? Okay. What will happen? You can read twice the amount. Maybe you can do service twice the number of clients, do twice the number of petitions or contracts. You can get free time at your job. You can get done in time. You can achieve in 1 year what your peers take 2 years to do. This is real, huh? I'm not fooling around here. This is not fantasy stuff. This is very real. This is possible simply by doubling your reading speed. In reality, it is possible to read 3 to 5 times at your current speed. So, of your current speed with practice, with full comprehension. Your mistake is that you think that if I'm speed reading, I'll not have comprehension. Okay, you have to practice it and forget about comprehension. You practice reading fast, and then you will start to have the comprehension of your regular reading speed. I'll tell you how to do this. Just stay with me. We will do the exercise, and you'll be able to do it. But tell me this, if you're able to read 3 to 5 times or even twice as fast, what will it help you achieve in your personal and professional life? What do you think? How will it help you? Sahil, we're just getting into the real stuff. Yeah, what can you do with it? See, Sahil, no point being anxious. When the real stuff comes, then it'll become difficult. Then if you don't have the purpose of strongly doing this, you'll be like, Arey, now I don't want to do it. Now this is the problem. Yes, you can go to NLS. Piyali, you can save time to do some other work, more leisure. Swami Vivekanand could read books in a few minutes. You could do workout. Yeah, you can go to the gym. You can read twice the number of novels if you enjoy. Very good. It will open up a new world, Vaibhav. Yeah. Yeah, correct. You can work on more matters. It will be a blessing while writing a research paper. Your papers will be much better than that of others. People will be like, how does she write so many papers in 1 month? How is her research, her quality of work so much? Yeah, Mr. A, you can watch Netflix. Yeah, you can enjoy things in life. Now, understand this, okay? We are going to rely on a methodology from the PX project, which was done by Tim Ferriss. He has shared how the PX project was done. Okay, it's a 3-hour cognitive experiment, produces an average increase in reading speed of 386%, meaning 4 times. Okay, we are going to practice this experiment. I will make you, I'm going to follow the guidelines of the same experiment and do it with you. This is the first time we are doing it. So, whatever results you get right now, remember that it can always increase with practice. Okay, this was tested with speakers of 5 different languages, including people who were dyslexics, and they were conditioned to read technical material. What is technical material? Not newspaper material, technical material at more than 3000 words or 10 pages per minute. I'm going to make you do this very shortly. 1 page every 6 seconds. Average reading speed, if you will take at least 1 minute or to read half to 1 page. Okay. And the top 1% exceeds 400 words. But what will you look at? This experiment led people to increase their reading speed by 4 to 5 times. Okay. Yeah. 1 second, Ramanuj. Ramanuj is here. I'm just upgrading you as panelist. Yeah, Ramanuj done. You're here. Hi, let's welcome Ramanuj. Hi,
Hi
Ramanuj.
everyone, thanks Abhyuday. It's going great. I've been listening for a while. I thought segment is coming closer.
Okay. Okay.
Go ahead.
Great. So we're going to do a version of this experiment for digital reading, okay? Because a lot of your text is digital, right? It's not you're not reading books, but this experiment was performed by books, and I'm going to do a version of it with you on digital content. Okay, so you'll need for the analog version, you need a book of 200 pages, all of that, and a stopwatch. So today I'm going to be your stopwatch. I'm going to time the pace at which you read. Okay, and you must perform this on a laptop. So are all of you logged in through laptop? If you're not logged in through laptop, I would suggest that you keep your laptop on the side and practice this with me today. I'll do it for 20 minutes with you, or you log in through laptop. Okay, just make sure that you're logged in through laptop. On phone, this one won't work at all. Okay, you'll not be able to experience the results. You'll know the method, but it requires practice. So 20 minutes we'll do this. Okay. uh, Concepts. Now what are we going to do? Some technique you need to learn. So somebody wanted to know the real stuff. This is not Pomodoro, okay? Some techniques you want to learn before you can practice this method. Okay. Sub vocalization. What is sub vocalization? Can anybody tell me? Some of you may be aware of it. Okay, we all are learning to speak and listen. As a child you would have learned to speak and listen first, right? You were born and from the moment you got like your you were born, you could listen, and soon you could speak, and you learn to read and write last. So we are accessing speech all the time to read. Like we are speaking in our minds, you're reading the words out in your minds when you read text. This is a natural habit that most of us pick up. Correct? We speak in our head. Correct. Now you are going to focus on not speaking. Okay, you will focus on not sub vocalizing. So you will try to see the word, not lip sync in your mouth, not have your tongue move, not speak the word. Okay, don't reproduce the sound in your head. It is going to be hard and difficult. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about comprehension. Every time you find yourself sub vocalizing, stop. Okay, because if you continue to sub vocalize, you will soon hit a barrier. That barrier is that at 200 300 words per minute, because you can't read faster than that. You can only read at the speed at which you can speak. It's possible for your eyes to read faster, but since you can't speak faster, you can't read faster. So you have to stop speaking for that. So stop speaking. Okay. Many of you who are young or not well read have to read aloud to understand something. Remember when we used to initially learn in school, we had to say it out aloud. We were asked to read out aloud by our parents and teachers and read. Okay, now that will slow you down here. You know such people, right? How many of you know such people? Okay, how can you reduce sub vocalization? Kanika, don't sub vocalize at the moment. Okay, we are practicing now, then you'll come to know how to reduce it. At the moment, don't do it because it's a guided exercise, so you'll be able to walk through it. Next level is to read at the speed of hearing. You can hear and process information much faster. When I'm watching my video also or anybody else's, I can watch a video at almost 2x the speed. Okay, very comfortably. And you would have seen that too for many of you. If you're not watching a TV series and you want to learn something, listen to another video, you might be able to watch it with 2x the speed. Sometimes you can hear the video and then also continue to do other work because there's reserve brain power. Okay, so you have to read at the speed of hearing, and it is faster than the speed at which you speak. Okay, which is capped at 300. You will find it a big barrier to move beyond this. So you can see much faster. Practice seeing the maximum. And imagine this, if you can read at that speed, if you can comprehend, if it's intelligible for you at the speed at which you can see, you will be super fast. So stop sub vocalizing for that and use the power of your brain. Okay. Now, this has to be done with practice. Today, we'll do this exercise. I'm going to make you read the Ayodhya judgment. But first, we will get to your base speed. And before that, step two. Technique is what? No sub vocalization. Technique two is fixations. What is fixation? Fixation means this. Okay. You've seen an automatic watch, it moves how? In a circle. Like that, it moves. But when you are reading, you're not reading like that. You're not reading like tick, 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 not reading like that. You're reading tick, 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 like that. You're fixating at groups of 5 or 6 words. These are called saccadic movements or jumps. So you focus. This happens quickly in a fraction of a second. You focus, move, focus, move, focus, move. Okay. Now this, so every time you focus, you are fixated on a particular set of words to get a photographic memory of the text you read. This will last half to 1/4 second. Okay. Now what you need to do, you must minimize the number and duration of the fixations. So you are moving faster and you are seeing more with each move. Okay, so you reduce the number of the time for which. So if you reduce from half second to 1/4 second, that's going to make you move faster. If you can read one line in one fixation and not two, that's going to make you move faster. Correct? So if you can read one line in one fixation rather than two, that will make you read faster. That's why by the way, newspapers have those 2-column reading view, because so that people can read in one fixation. Okay. But now you're going to practice doing this for regular text that you read, and you can read more in one fixation. That's the goal. Regression and back skipping. What is this? when you are reading any piece of text, you will consciously go back to read what to review revisit what you just read. It's not revision, okay? Every line by line you're going back. Actually, some parts you will consciously catch yourself do. When I'll give you the exercise right now, to set your baseline reading speed, you will find this happen. Then bag skipping is when you subconsciously do it. Why? Because your eye is not trained to follow line by line and the gaps that are there in the text. So your eye is not trained to follow it. That is where this happens. Okay. Subconscious reading and back skipping are two things which can take up 30% of your reading time. Now, what does this mean? How can you improve it? Because it's taking 30% of your time, you need to reduce. Sorry, you need to practice your eye. You have to train your eye to jump, make the right jumps, and not to move back. Literally, it's that. Now, in law, you are spending even more time rereading. Agreed? You have to again and again, dense texts are there. You have to, review again to see, acha, this is the extract, this is the para I'm going to challenge, all of that. So, a lot of
So I
times,
want to just
hmm,
want to add something up there. It is our habit to reread because we are afraid that we will miss out something, that we have not understood something, and we have very little confidence on our brain. The reality is that whatever our brain sees, it can remember, it can recall. Okay, but what we do is that we have no confidence in our own memory. So we read something and then we are rechecking, did I understand it right, will I remember it right, just see what happened during the exam, right? People, most of the time when you start studying in the beginning of the semester, you are trying to study perfectly, so you are rereading the same thing so many times that you don't even end up finishing the syllabus. How many of you have this problem that you start reading before the exam, and then in the beginning when there's a lot of time, you are rereading the same stuff so much, so many times, that you are actually not finishing it? This is not necessary. Do you realize when you sit down to, and there are a lot of things you have just read only once in your life before the exam, okay, and when you sit down to write the exam, you write it perfectly, right? And it always happens. So our brain is very powerful, very strong. It can remember things even if you have seen it once, but you will go, because of you have this FOMO, fear of missing out, you'll reread it again and again and again and waste a lot of time. 30% I think is extremely underestimation. In law especially, when you are reading complex text, you are so afraid that you will not understand, you will not remember, that you keep rereading, and
yeah.
this is what slows you down most of the time. And this is a very dangerous habit. We need to
And
change
this,
it. You
yeah.
need to build the confidence that I have read it once and it's enough, I'll remember. If you don't remember, by the way, you can come back and revise the whole text, but basically once you start reading, you're not going to go back. You will finish reading the entire material, then only you're going to come back again. And this is the uh, habit you have to change, because this is what you have built since a childhood. You have built the habit of rereading, trying to understand perfectly. You reality, if you just keep reading, later on everything will make sense, but you don't have the confidence to do it. That's all. By the way, it's very simple. It's just because nobody has talked to you about it, you have never thought about it, you are doing these unconscious habits, you're making these mistakes again and again without realizing that you're making a mistake. Now that I'm telling you, it will seem like such an obvious thing that why are you doing it, right? Who is feeling like this, that why am I doing it anyway? Why have I been doing it? I can just, so this is as simple as that. It is a no-brainer, but we just do it out of habit. Okay, Abhyuday, please proceed.
Yeah. And I think what you're saying, it increases, the FOMO increases at 2 times the rate.
Yeah, I can't hear Abhyuday. So I will quickly tell. You know what happens is that if you practice confidence, then your confidence increases. If you practice FOMO, then your FOMO increases, and it becomes like completely, extremely. Uh, I mean, gripping. You can't escape FOMO. You have, if you have practiced FOMO all your life, it's very hard to get out of it. Okay, so this is a very big part of reading fast. Abhyuday has dropped off. Yeah, correct. So you have to have develop this confidence that I have read it, it's in my brain, when needed I'll be able to bring it out, just like in exam, right? There are so many things you have read only once, but you're able to write it. Exactly the you have to do. So once you are able to develop that, you will be in a very good place. We need Abhyuday back soon. I don't know where he has dropped off. Maybe internet problem. Okay. So any questions so far? I am happy to answer while Abhyuday joins back. So you have watched this so far. Do you have any questions that you want to ask at this point? So somebody you are thinking you can't do this because you haven't done the exercise. We are going to show you exercise. So I'll tell you something. Okay, imagine going to the gym. Okay, and in the gym, let's say you want to be strong, right? So you go to the gym and you lift weights or you do exercise. Now it's completely meaningless exercise. Na? The exercise in the gym is completely meaningless, right? You are not going to lift weights in your real life. But if you become strong by lifting weights in the gym, that strength is always there with you, right? Somebody is asking, Shravan is asking, it will help him for CLAT. It will help you for anything, your whole life. It doesn't matter, right? So definitely it will be helpful for CLAT, for everything you can imagine. It will be useful your entire life. Okay. So today's exercise is a 20-minute exercise. Okay. And this is the first time you will be doing the exercise. And in that first exercise itself, you will be able to see an improvement in your reading speed, a dramatic increase in your reading speed. You will be able to see in the first exercise itself. But surely you have to practice it a few times more later on again. So today it's like more you exercise, just like you have to practice something multiple times to become really good at it. Same thing for speed reading. And by the way, if you practice today, you will see a jump in your reading speed. But tomorrow morning, when you start reading again, it may not be the same again. Okay, your reading speed will reduce. So you have to practice again. So if you practice for several days, then it will happen. Now you imagine that when I was in college, I was super thin. Okay, I don't know if I can show you some pictures. Maybe I can look you up on Facebook. I was not looking like how I'm looking today. I was super thin, and now I'm muscular. Now how did that happen? It's because I worked out. It took time, it took effort. So if you think that today I read so slowly, so I can never speed read, that is not necessary. It is just practice. You have to practice. Some people will be able to do it with less practice. Some people will need more practice. But all I'm asking you, that today you give this a fair chance. 20 minutes of exercise will do. At one point, one exercise will tell you it after explaining all these concepts. And that exercise will feel like complete nonsense. You'll be like, what is this stupid exercise? How can this improve my uh, how can this improve my reading speed? It will seem like completely is a stupid idea. But if you do it for 20 minutes, then after that we will test your reading speed again and you will realize that you have dramatically improved. So have faith in the process, hear us out, you will see what happens. Okay. So some Deepti Sawant is asking, can you brief about fixation, please? That was a little confusing. So Abhyuday, can you explain? I'll explain fixation. Okay, Abhyuday has already explained. I'll give it a shot.
Hmm.
Fixation is like this. So in front of you, there is a wall, right? Let's say you look at the far wall somewhere. Now, if you want to see from one end, like one end of the wall to the other end, right? So there are left hand side to right hand side. You want to see the entire wall. Can you see the entire wall with one vision? No. You have to look here and there and there. Your eye does not move in a straight line. Your eye stops at some points, 1, 2, 3, and you can see the whole thing. Try it yourself, right? So basically your eye stops along the straight line. When you are reading a sentence, your eye is not seeing the whole sentence at once. Your eye might be stopping at every word, or maybe your eye stopped at once is seeing 3 words and then 3 words more and then 3 words more. Depends on how fast you read and how much you developed your vision. Okay. So this is what it is. So that is your fixation. Your eye gets fixed in different parts of the sentence. So maybe in a sentence, for some people, there will be only one fixation point. They can see the whole sentence with one glance. Some other people, while reading, they are breaking down the entire sentence, which is a straight line. Imagine the sentence is a straight line. They're breaking it down into 2 parts or 3 parts or 4 parts. Some people maybe 5 parts. Okay. Does this make sense? Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We are going to explain further. Let's do the exercise after
Yeah.
this.
Horizontal one is done.
No, horizontal is not done. I haven't done anything. I was just answering you.
Okay. Okay. So horizontal. So why are we saying this? We are not. We are directly into the meat of this. Okay. Horizontal peripheral vision span means just widen your gaze. Okay. How do you do that? Let's see. So you will use, usually you are trained or you picked up the habit to focus only through the central, only focus on the center of what you are seeing. Okay, so your peripheral vision is much wider. You will see certain things in focus and certain things through your peripheral vision, but you are not trained to use that. Now here you have to use that to widen your peripheral reading speed. This will increase your total reading speed because you're focusing on 4 words and through peripheral vision catching another 7. Okay, that makes it 10 words a second. That is what is something that you have to do. Okay, now yeah, now you have to again keep practicing this, so we will do that now. This is like lifting the weights at a gym. So, step one, what are the 5 steps? Just remember this technique. We just went through the technique. Step two is to apply the techniques with speed. So, speed is going to be prioritized right now. Comprehension will initially dip. Forget about it. Forget about comprehension. Train your brain. Overdose your brain to read at the speed that you need to read. In fact, I'll make you read at 3 times the speed that you aspire to read after finding your baseline reading speed. Okay, then step 3 is to speed read with comprehension. Okay, so step 4 is to measure your results. And in step 2, what's going to happen here, you will try to worry about comprehension and abandon the whole quest to speed read. You will say this doesn't work. That pitfall you have to avoid and train yourself enough. It's like going to the gym, right? When the first time you work out, next time you have a body ache, you decide that this doesn't work for me, then it's gone. Okay, so you will need to practice this technique at 3 times of your target reading speed. If you read at 300 words per
So just
minute,
stop, Abhyuday. I'll explain the pitfall once more
uh,
for this thing. Step 2, we will not bother about comprehension. There will be a time when we will be reading. Basically, you are training your eye for a motor skill. When we are saying that we don't care if you understand, you will not understand. Guaranteed, you will not understand anything. We are just making you practice a technique. That's all, right? We don't care if you are able to understand anything. You should not be able to understand anything. If you're understanding, you're reading too slowly. We will make you just see the text very, very, very fast. Okay, that is the time, and you'll do it for quite a long time. That is the time when your brain will start developing. This is one big pitfall. Okay, and that time you'll be like, oh, I am seeing things but I'm not able to understand anything. No, that your job is not to understand at this point. That will come in step 3. So while doing step 2, if you are trying to understand things, then you are doing it wrong. You can't do the exercise wrong, then you will not get any benefits. Third point, second pitfall that I have not mentioned here, but very, very important, is that you will be uncomfortable. Any exercise, when you start doing, you may fail for a bit, right? That's why we'll be doing it for 20 minutes. Maybe first 5 minutes you're super uncomfortable. You're like, I'm not able to do it. I'm not able to concentrate. All of that can happen. But don't worry. Just keep doing what we are asking you to do. Okay, just do what we are asking you to do, and do it, try it for 20 minutes, all we are asking you, right? Do not try to, don't give up, because it's like, imagine, have you ever, if you go try to swim, imagine you don't know how to swim and you go into the swimming pool, right? 100% you will be super uncomfortable, you will be afraid of drowning, the water will enter your nose, and you will be scared, all of that will happen, right? But that time you cannot give up. The point is that if you spend enough time in the swimming pool, you learn how to swim. The initial fear, the initial discomfort will be over, and you learn. So you have to give it time. Some people will naturally do it very easily. Some people will not be able to concentrate. Some people will not be able to focus. Some people will feel like, I can never do this. This doesn't make any sense. Blah blah blah. But you just have to do it. Okay. Abhyuday, just tell the 4 steps one more time. Can you tell the 4 steps one more time?
yes. So step 1, learn the technique.
You have to learn the technique. Okay. So if you go to the gym and you're lifting weight, first you learn the technique. Okay, you just don't go and start pulling the weight trying to lift it, right? So first, maybe they'll give you a PVC pipe which has no weight, right? Very light. So they'll give you a PVC pipe and make you do the form correctly. How many of you have seen this before? That you are just given a pipe and told, okay, now do the motion perfectly. And when you perfect the motion, then only say, okay, now try with the weight. So first thing is to learn the technique. That time there is nothing. You're just trying to learn the technique. Step two is, Abhyuday, step two is to learn to apply the technique with speed. Okay, you are just practicing the technique, but this time with speed. And you are conditioning your eyes and you're conditioning your brain. But you are not going to worry about comprehension at this stage. Step three,
Yeah.
that you start trying to read with comprehension, and step 4 is that you measure. That's it. Okay, we'll tell you the technique, we are just telling you the steps, because if you don't understand the steps, then if you mix these things up, if you try to do step 3 before step 1, or if you don't do step 1 directly go to step 2, or you do step 3 before step 2, or you do it intermittently, it will not work, then there will be no results. Okay, so very
Technique
important.
is you don't have to do the sub vocalization, don't have
No,
to
no, technique
regress.
will
Okay.
tell you. Technique is not here. Move on.
Okay.
Sub-vocalization has nothing to do with technique. Move on.
Four is to measure the results. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you've
So
covered pitfall.
yeah,
So this is very important. This start from here.
so you'll have to read at 3 times the speed of your target speed. So if you're reading currently, which we'll do right now, a test. If you're reading at 250, we will read, and let's say you want to get to 900. Okay, let's assume you read at 300 words per minute and you want to get to 900. So you'll practice at 3 times of 900 words per minute. That is 2,700 words per minute. Okay, that is what will train your brain to see.
2700 word per minute. You're not reading. You are seeing.
Yeah.
Okay, you are seeing 2700 word per minute without comprehension. All you will do is that you will see 2700 words per minute. That is the exercise. That is the step 2, right? You are asking what is the technique. This is the technique. I will tell you more about the technique. Wait.
Okay, so now when we will be reading a judgment, you will be looking at basically 10 seconds per page. I
You
think
have
the
to
number
see
here
all
is
the
6
words
seconds
in a
for this.
page.
Yeah.
You have to
Yeah.
look at all the words in a page in 10 seconds. So you can
Yeah.
imagine how fast your eye will be moving from word to word. And you have to see all the words. It's not like you can skip some words. No skipping, right? You have to see all the words in a page of of judgment in 10 seconds. That's all.
Okay, so we are starting the
Okay, one
exercise.
second. Don't stop. Don't start. Somebody saying, please help me join through laptop. All the words, all the words. Someone saying, please help me join through laptop. Okay. Now, Ravi,
Checking.
take your time. You have all you have to do. You have the link already in your email. Click on it from your laptop and join. So we'll give like a few seconds for you to, a minute. Give you a minute before we start. Okay, before you go to the exercise. If you can't join from a laptop, then you can watch it like a movie. You can see all of us doing it and try to do it later on your own. At home, you can try. If you can't you don't have a laptop, no problem. Okay, you are not able to do it, no problem. Watch the whole thing, and then your reading speed will not improve, but at least you learn the technique, and then you have to go and practice it at home, right? Later on with a laptop or with a book if you want, whatever. Okay, so watch this. If you can't practice, of course those who will practice will be increasing their reading speed on the spot, others cannot. So but then you can do it later at home.
Shivam, during testing your current reading speed, so I'll tell you when you have to look at comprehension and when you don't. Okay. So there is this first exercise right now. We are testing your baseline reading speed. I'm going to share the link on the chat. Sorry, 1 second.
Okay, 1 second. People are still saying they are not able to log in. There is only way you have been able to join this meeting. That is through email. There was an email that was you registered on LawSikho/webinars. You went there, registered for our workshop. Then over there, then you got an email. The email is in your email box. Open your email, right? It is a mail from Bhavna Agarwal, Bhawna, Bhavna Agarwal. Open that link and you will be able to see.
The link has the password and the meeting
You will
ID.
be reading a judgment for practice. That time you will not try to comprehend. Nothing. You don't need to comprehend. You are just going to see. Your only job is to see those words in 10, a whole page, whatever words are there, you have to read that in 10 seconds. That is your job. It's very hard and you don't need to comprehend. Comprehension will come later. Okay. Okay, Abhyuday. Now we'll continue.
Yeah, so now this is the exercise for your baseline reading speed. In this one, you have to read
So
with
first we will see
comprehension.
your current reading speed before we do any exercise, right? We want to just see your current reading speed. Otherwise, how will you know you have improved, you have become worse? We'll know nothing, right? So first, let's test your current reading speed.
So
Okay.
go to freereadingtest.com. I have
Very
typed
simple.
this.
Freereadingtest.com. Open this on your laptop.
Select theme as general. Complexity level, go right to 13.
Highest level of complexity, level 13. And you can choose story one. Everyone choose story one.
Okay. When you all have done that, let me know. Then you click on begin. And no group
Freereadingtest.com.
discussion.
It is showing on the screen. What is it not correct? It's correct. Freereadingtest.com.
So you all joined.
Story
General
one.
category, story 1, level 13. Click on begin. Okay. So what you have to all do is I will be speaking, don't have to be on the screen here. You have to go to begin, start reading, and then they'll give you some questions to answer. So solve those questions. I'm
Now
clicking
you
on
are going to read with comprehension. You are going to read normally. Don't try to read fast. Read at your normal speed. Find the just understand this entire thing, and then there will be questions about this. We'll ask you later. Okay. So just read right now. You just read normally like you
read
usually
with
read,
comprehension.
and read with comprehension normally. That the way you read. We are trying to identify your normal reading speed. So you read normally with comprehension. Start.
General
Start. Start.
general theme level 13 story 1. Start.
When you are done reading, you click on done on that same page, right? Well, there is a done option. When you're done, there will be a question answer will come up on the screen. You answer the questions.
Aruna, can you type your question? You raised your hand. Start everybody. Link is on screen.
Freereadingtest.com.
Once you click on done reading, then and then answer the questions. Now answer the questions on your own. Okay, good. So what is your speed?
Share your speed. How much speed did you record?
Shashank Shekhar, very good. So Deepthi Sawant, 429, 75% comprehension. Shashank, what was your comprehension? Also, you need to see. Okay, most of you, as you can see, you are at 200 to 300 words per minute. 284,
And this is the
300.
normal average also in the world, right?
Yeah. Iram, this works on phone, but when I ask you to read Ayodhya judgment, it won't work on phone. So
Yeah, there is a reason we are saying it will not work on phone, but you watch it on your phone and do it later on. Okay.
yeah, some of you have 100 words per minute, 180, okay, 400, 178, 273. Very good. So you all note this down, okay? Everybody has a different reading speed. Please note down what your current reading speed is, because then at the end we will see how much you've improved by, right?
Yeah. Otherwise, how will you know you improved or not?
So understand this: if you are at 180 and somebody else is at 360 with 100% comprehension, that person's already doing it at 2x, doing work in life at 2x the speed, which means that this is already happening right now with you. There are people who are reading twice as fast, right? And you can get there. And the person who's reading at 360, you can get to 800. Person at 770 can get to 1500, 2200, right? Okay, great. Rakesh TS, how can you get 50 comma 200? It's 200 words per minute, 50% comprehension. Okay, got it. Okay, great. So let's go to the next part. Everybody finished? Aruna, we'll go to comprehension. Right now, you're doing comprehension. At the end, also, we'll sign off with comprehension, but not for 20 minutes. Okay, I'll tell you when you're not going to look at comprehension. That time, you will not look at comprehension. Okay. Now we are going to look at the Ayodhya judgment. Stopped sharing by mistake. 1 second. So, Ayodhya judgment link I am sending you on chat. Okay. A specific one. Great. Yeah, if you have not completed, you can complete. Now, this is going to be a tricky one. I'm going to set the rules. So, you're not going to read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll tell you where to start reading
This
from.
is the hard part. This is the hard part, by the way. So pay
Yeah.
attention. You can start in the middle in some random page also. No? Don't start from the beginning also. Start from page 15. No problem.
Okay. I'll start with here. 1 second. I'll start with 20. Okay. Just will keep my calculation clear. So, I am going to be like your gym trainer. It's like exciting and funny also. So, what we will do is everybody open this judgment.
This same page 20.
Yeah. So, now I'm going to time you. I'll just tell you the rules. I'll do the calculation. 1 second. You have to read 10 pages per minute for 20 minutes. So 10 pages in a minute means 6 seconds, 6 to 7 seconds for one page. Okay, because this is double line spacing, so there are less words. So therefore, you have to read at a target speed. The target speed we are setting here at whatever level you are at right now. I am doing one default moderated targeting for you, irrespective of any speed you are at. I am setting a speed of about 2700 words a minute. Okay, you don't
So
have
we
to
are
retain.
assuming that your target speed of reading in the future with comprehension later on will be 900. So with comprehension will be 900. So without comprehension, you have to practice at 2700 per minute, 2700 word per minute. You have to practice because later on you want to do 900 with comprehension, right? So you don't have to understand anything, but you have to see 2700 words per minute. For this, you have to read one, you have to see all the words in a page in 6 to 7 seconds. 6 seconds, let's keep 6 seconds.
I'm
That you
giving
have to
6.
try to see all the words in 6 seconds, and initially you will fail miserably. When you start doing this now, maybe first 1 minute, 2 minute, 5 minute, you'll miserably fail. In 6 seconds, you will not be able to finish seeing all the words. But if you keep trying, then maybe after some people after 5 minutes, some people after 10 minutes, some people after 15 minutes, you will start seeing all the words in a page in 6 seconds. And that is something that you have to strive for. You have to try very hard to see all the words, moving your eye really fast. You will try to see all the words, no comprehension. Okay, how many times will I say this part of the exercise? No comprehension is needed. If you are trying to comprehend, you are doing it wrong. If you are understanding what is written, you are doing it wrong, because you cannot understand 27 words per minute at comprehension, right? If you are looking at one page just for 6 seconds and trying to see all the words, is it even possible for you to actually see all the words? understand what is written? No, not possible. You don't have to. All you are trying to do is to go through all the words, see all the words within 6 seconds. Just try very hard to do that. Okay, that's all. Now, Abhyuday, a few more techniques Abhyuday will tell you. Abhyuday, go ahead.
So you, since you're reading this on screen, and I said, you have to widen your peripheral gaze and you have to stop regression, like going back again and again. So you can use. Can you see my mouse cursor move on screen? Just let me know if you all can see. Like I'm on para 24, moving my left mouse cursor from right to right. Okay, perfect. So you can read it like this to guide your eye. Okay, but don't move left to right again and again, because you have to stay fixated and catch all the words through your peripheral vision. So you scroll center wise. Okay, look at the center of the page and then try to see everything. And you can move your finger. You can take your finger like that, and but you have only 6 seconds, so you will not be able to move your finger so fast. You can move your mouse cursor down each line as you scroll. Okay, that is one way you can do it. Otherwise, if you're moving a finger, you will get tired, but you can do that too. Okay, move your finger on the line so that your eye stays focused and never go back to the earlier line. Always keep scrolling down, 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 down. Okay, you're practicing at that pace. We're going to do this for 20 minutes. I'm going to have you
Momita is
change
asking
page.
how many pages to read. You have to
I'll
read
tell
all
you.
the pages, and if you finish reading all the pages, you start from beginning again. If you
There are
finish,
there are going
until
to
we
be,
ask
yeah,
you to
180 to
stop, you will
200
not
pages.
stop. Until we ask you to stop, you will not stop. You can mute us, no problem.
Correct. Yeah, yeah. So I'm going to say next, okay, whenever we have a new page turn, just to help you out. And those people who don't need it, no problem. Time right now is 7:30. I'm starting the timer now.
So at every page, Abhyuday will say turn. Next, 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 like that.
I lost a second. Sorry, I'm starting now. Turn, 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 turn. Next page, 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 next page. Use do that on your own, guys. Please scroll on your own. Next page, next page. I can't count and scroll, guys. Next page, next page, next page, next page, next page, next page. Go with it, go with it. Next page, next page, next page, Next page. Next page. Keep doing it. Change when I say. Next page. Next page. Next page. See everything. Next page. Next page. Next page. Keep practicing. Next page. Next page. Next page. Next page. Continue. Next page. 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 Why is page not moving forward? You move it forward. I am not changing it. You'll have to change it on your screen. Next page. 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 Why is the page not changing? You have to just move it like that. Next page. Next page. Next page. Two fingers scroll on your trackpad. Next page. Next page. Next page. Next page. Next page. If you're tired, go on. This is the hard part. Continue. This is important. Next page. You will start to get a grip now very soon. You're going to burn out. You are going to feel that. Next page. And then you will feel that you're getting a grip. Next page. 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 9 minutes to go, 11 minutes up. Continue practice. Next page. 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 Continue, continue. Next page. Next page. Next page. Good going. 7 more minutes left. Next page. Next page. Next page. Next page. Next page. Don't quit. Don't quit. Continue, please. Next page. Good going. A lot of you are leaving in the middle of the exercise. Don't do that. Next page. 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 Last 5 minutes. Well done. Good going. 75% up. Maximum results will be in this phase. Next phase. Next page. 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 3 more minutes. Next page. 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 One more minute left. Next page. 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 Last lap. Done. Stop. Okay, so which page did you reach? Starting at 20, where did you go? How are you? How are your eyes? How is your brain? Okay. So you can practice average speed. I'll just tell you, brain is blank. Okay, no problem. For one page, you basically read, this is the average, okay? You read 286 words on one page,
On an average.
on
Some
an
pages
average.
had very different number of words.
Yeah. Okay.
So very important. Mohit is saying initially eyes were heavy, but they are now feeling lighter because of the exercise, right?
Yeah. You didn't fail at anything right now. So count which you started at page 20, right? And which page did you end at? Now minus the number of pages. So if you ended at 200, then it's 200 minus uh 20.
Whatever, doesn't matter.
And
You
yeah,
you did something, okay? You did an exercise, okay? Just 20 minutes you spend looking at words as fast as you can look at words. That's the whole point, okay?
yeah,
Now let's see what happened, right? So next what Abhyuday, go to the ये सब तो हो गया.
yeah. So now what we have to do is,
Do the test again to see
yeah,
where you have reached.
yeah. They've read about how many words? I was trying to count that. About 40,000 words or so.
If you are trying to read, because in your brain reading means reading, like properly seeing every word, understanding what word it is, and blah blah blah, right? So if you're trying to read, you cannot do it. You have to see. Reading and seeing is different, right? In your brain reading is something else. So you're trying to see words, that's all. So when you do this exercise, you are trying to see as many words as possible and very fast. Okay, so whatever you have done, surely some people have done a lot, some people have done differently, right? So now let's see what is your different, is there any improvement in your reading speed? So go to that freereadingtest.com again. Go
Yeah.
to freereadingtest.com again. You
This
will
is
be
the site.
shocked by the result you see now. Go to freereadingtest.com again.
Again, you all are asking me for
Someone is
this
saying
one.
eyes became very heavy, but I think this could develop photographic memory. Absolutely.
It does.
What people say now, oh, photographic memory. It's not some magic genius guy who's doing this. Okay, it's just a lot of practice, and you can develop the same ability. You see the page and you can read it at a glance, right? And it is just gonna happen. It can develop. It's just an ability anybody can develop. So now forget all of that, guys. Enough. Now we are no
No break, no
break.
break.
no breaks right now. Please, no breaks.
Your
Go to
brain will go back.
freereadingtest.com. It'll take up 1 minute, just 1 minute. 1 minute, then we can take break if you want. Go to free reading
Level
speed.
13.
freereadingtest.com, level 13, take story 2 or story 3, whatever you like.
Take story 2 or take story 3 and then
And
click on.
begin. Now you can test your reading speed now. Let's see if you have improved.
Now you're doing for comprehension.
Comprehension, theme, whatever you take, doesn't matter.
General I took. Take general.
We took general, you can took general. Level 13, story 3, general. If you want to compare it with others exactly, take general level 13, story 3. Harsh Kedia, last was 285, now 692 with 50%. So when you did 285, what was the percentage then, Harsh? Was it 100%? 75%. So your comprehension dropped a little, but you have increased massively the number of words you read in a minute. So Chaitanya, have you improved at all from last time? How much you are amazed? Okay, that's great.
2000 words. Wow.
2000. That's crazy. Oh, he already had 800. So
Yeah, and that he has almost tripled.
Jagannath
Wow.
1500. Wow. Someone is 872, 1400. If somebody was at 100 and did 200 or 300, that is also success. You don't have to get intimidated by seeing all these big numbers, 800, 900, 1400, 2000. Okay. Don't get intimidated. Okay. But you improved, right? Look at your own improvement. Please don't get into comparing with other people. Look at yourself. Now imagine you have improved this much in 20 minutes. Now if you do this practice every day for 7 days, where can you reach? And it was so hard, right? You are not even comfortable with this exercise. You must have been cursing us. What bullshit these guys are playing on us. A lot of people ran away. There were 400 people when we started this exercise. 100 have already run away. Okay, while doing the exercise. And that is a natural thing. People, and I am surprised that 300 people are still here. Okay, now this was nothing. This we just explained to you the concept and we showed you. The intention is that you can do this at home, practice every day. Now if you routinely practice this for 7 days, it is incredible how easily you can increase your reading speed. Okay, some people are having really low comprehension, 25%. I see, but that's okay. I mean, don't feel bad about it. You just have to practice. But how many of you saw no improvement? How many of you saw improvement? Right? Yes. How many of you saw no improvement? Right? 0. If you got no improvement, right? 0. Okay. So I see 1 or 2 people. There are some people who have got 0. You know, 0. I am sorry to hear that. Maybe you have to practice it again. That is all. Okay, you have to practice. So don't, you can see so many people got results. Okay, don't think that you are special, that this does not work for you. It will work for you also. Some people have dropped also. This is shocking, Kanika. Okay, but
No, if your speed increases, comprehension goes a little down, it's still improvement. Okay, so comprehension not improving is not the issue. Speed improving with comprehension staying the same or even a little less means you've
so
moved in
I'll
forward
tell you
direction.
something. Okay, how many of you tried cycling? Like you were trying to learn cycling. Okay, when you tried cycling, what happened? You fell down. Were you able to ride the cycle the first time perfectly? Not really, right? So a lot of people have got really good results. Okay, that should be enough proof to you that it is possible to improve, right? So you have to practice this. Maybe you could not do the practice well this time. Maybe you do it again, right? Try it just 20 minutes, not a big deal, right? So you can spend 20 minutes a day for the next 7 days. days, and you can practice, and you can practice on this website, right? It's free. And no, the practice, you can taste your reading speed, but the practice you cannot do here, right? The practice, you have to take a big judgment and see a lot of words like we are showing. It's totally unsexy. It is totally like boring. It is extremely mind fuck, whatever you call it. The point is that it is like that. But if you do that exercise, your brain is becoming stronger. You know, your brain is a machine. It can adopt. If you give it, it can adapt. You can give it a challenge and it will learn to adapt to that situation. So you gave this fast input, right? You were given a lot of input massively, and you struggled with it. Because of that, some improvement happened, right? So if you have to stretch yourself, you are making your brain going through a very hard exercise, and because of that there's an improvement. Now some of you maybe even you are not even able to do it, right? The exercise, you are not able to do it, you're not able to focus, you're not able to concentrate, you are getting anxiety. If you do this, many things can happen. So then you have to try again with a calmer mind, again and again, and you will get better. Horizontally or vertically? I read vertically. I try to see it vertically, but it is okay to do horizontal also. But if you want to do 6 seconds the whole page, it is not possible to do horizontal and do it. You have to do vertical. Okay. You train your brain to see words, your sub vocalization will go away. If you do this practice for 20 minutes a day, then I bet after 7 days your sub vocalization won't be around.
Humera, 20 minutes for 7 days, you're practicing at 3000 words per minute. And then you can expect to have a increase threefold or twofold in your
Will it improve
comprehension speed.
speaking? No, it will not improve speaking, but it will improve your brain's capacity to process information overall.
Sri Lakshmi wants me to repeat the techniques once again.
Okay, we can do that. Let's just run them through the techniques once more, right? So that you guys are just understand, so that you can repeat this practice at home comfortably, right?
Sub vocalization and all. That way.
No, इसके नीचे जाना, इतना पहले नहीं जाना है. Step 1 से जाओ.
Step 1. Okay.
Okay, step 1 is to learn the technique. Step 2 is to now go Abhyuday fast, please. Is to learn to apply technique with speed through conditioning without worrying about comprehension at this stage. Step 3 is to speed read with comprehension. Step 4 is to measure your results. And then next. Pitfall in step 2, you worry about comprehension and slow down and will fail to train your eye and brain to apply the technique. तो ये नहीं करना है. Next. As a general rule, you will need to practice technique. Technique is seeing really fast, seeing the words really fast. Okay. Somebody saying we don't need this. If you don't need it, it's okay, no problem. Don't do it, no problem. I'm not forcing you, right? So you will need to practice technique at 3x the speed of your ultimate target reading speed, right? And then next. So ये सब skip करो. Next. So at this stage, you will not comprehend anything, but you're developing a motor skills and then skill. And then you develop this, then you start the exercise, right? The exercise is first you check your reading speed.
On freereadingtest.com.
Freereadingtest.com. Then you
Category.
open a
Level
big
13.
document or any big document and try to see a lot of words. Okay, you may say that 6 seconds for a whole page is too much. I want to do it in 10 seconds. Do it in 10 seconds, no problem. Okay. Now fixation points. Fixation points you can have in one sentence. You can have 2-3 fixation points also, right? Or you can have one fixation point per sentence. Then you are going 1, 2, 3, 4. You are going vertically down the page. Okay, guys, this is all there in YouTube. You can watch it again later. Okay, so no problem. You can go to YouTube and watch this thing again. It's all there. It's live on YouTube. You can watch it later again. Okay, so now let's move on. So how many of you are happy with what you learned today? and you feel that yes, this was beneficial, and how many of you are not happy and you think it was a waste of time? You can be honest, it's okay. Okay, so you have reached a certain reading speed. Remember that tomorrow this reading speed will not remain like this unless you practice. You have to practice more to have this kind of high reading speed, right? And you can improve even more. More you do, more better it will get. Next, Abhi, the next slide. So this is amazing. I think a lot of you have done fantastic work, really achieved something, and you have a taste of success. You know what is possible, and then you are going to do more, right? You're going to do more in the future. Next, Abhyuday. So even if you could not reach 900 words or 500 words or whatever, does not matter. It was just the first practice. If you keep practicing, you can reach even much higher speed. Next. There are many such life changing skills that can take your language skills to the next level. Language is one of the most important skills you can develop. Okay. And on that note, next.
So Hina is asking whether digital book reading is better or not, and Parth is not happy with his result. Just want to address this. Hina, you will read a lot of stuff digitally, so you have to. I suggest strongly that you practice this digitally. Okay, because as a lawyer, that is what you're doing, reading a lot of attachments, not always printing out stuff. Okay, so practice being familiar with this on the computer. And if you're not satisfied with your own result, this was the first time you tried. It doesn't matter. You try it for a week. Do this for a week and then see what you get.
You want results, you try it for a 1 week, you will see results, right? So next. So on that same note, many of you will have other problems also around language. This is language skill, right? And you realize that most of us, why you are so amazed today, because you have really never thought that reading skill can be improved. Okay, so just like writing skill can be improved, public speaking skill can be improved. Similarly, reading skill can be improved. But your reading skills are the same that it was in primary school, right? In primary school, we are taught to read, and that same reading skill we are continuing till date and not improving ourselves. And this is why I keep saying that if you improve yourself, then you can achieve such levels you cannot even imagine. Only thing it takes is to that you have to keep learning. You cannot stop learning. You stopped learning higher grade of reading skills. Okay, so your eye started paining because you're not used to that kind of focus and straining. It is not a, if you are, it is the same amount of light going from the laptop to your eye. So it's not. But if consult your doctor. I'm not an expert on eye doctor. I can help you to read faster. But if you think it is not good for your eyes, then you can consult a doctor about that, right? Maybe you can find a better device. Maybe there's a problem with your device. It has the wrong kind of light or something. I can't really say. Okay, so you have to check that. Okay, so many of you have other problems also. So how I want you to tell me if you have these problems. Forget about speed reading. You can practice this tomorrow again. Abhyuday, can you go back one slide, two slides actually? Okay, how many of you are worried about your public speaking skills? Yes, no, maybe write in the chat. Are you worried about your public speaking skills? Okay, next. You actually don't have to always tell us some things. You may feel embarrassed to tell us, then you can note it down yourself or make a mental note. Next, Abhyuday. Next. How many of you make frequent grammatical mistakes? Next. How many of you make rare grammatical mistakes, but sometimes they embarrass you? In critical times, you make like a big blunder sometimes, although normally your grammar is good. Next. How many of you feel that your vocabulary is inadequate? That I really like vocabulary is a big problem. So it may be a many problem for many of you. Next. How many of you often struggle to understand the meaning of something you are reading in English? Comprehension problem, right? Happens sometimes to some of you. Maybe not all of you, but some of you. Next. How many of you are worried about appearing in an interview or exam in English? This was a big problem for me. When I was a law student, I got into law school. I used to be worried that how will I write exams in English? Because all my life I have written exams in Bengali language. Okay, next. How many of you will feel nervous to handle a foreign client if you ever land one? Imagine you got a foreign client, which is dream client of all Indian lawyers, and you're like, I don't know how will I handle this guy. Even how can I talk to them properly, or will I make mistakes? Can be issues, right? Then not everyone has the same problem, but people have problem. Next. How many of you are compromising in your career because your English is not up to the mark? Is there anyone? If you are not, then that's great for you. But is there anyone who's compromising in your career because your English is not up to the mark, right? Next. How many times your articles get rejected or you do not feel confident enough to publish? Does it happen to you ever? Right? Next. We can change all of that. Okay, like we showed you, it is possible to increase your reading speed so fast. We can change these things also. Okay, next. LawSikho has a course for legal English communication where we teach accuracy, legal vocabulary, oratory, reading comprehension, writing, and skills like what we taught today. Okay, next. Way too many lawyers and law students are not able to reach their dreams, as I experienced myself because of English language skills. You know, if you don't have good English skills, it is very hard to succeed in India as a lawyer. You can get some success, district court success possible, but really at high court. I see speed reading part is done. We're going to talk about our English communication course. We have a special English communication course only for lawyers. So it is legal English communication course. We're going to talk about that. Okay. So Ishita, your comprehension will be fine. Your comprehension doesn't have to be compromised. It will get better over time. You're just first time you're doing this, so maybe it won't be a problem in the future. So as I experienced myself, so we created a program where you just need to attend 3 classes per week and do 2 assignments after every class. Okay, and in 1 year will help you to perfect your legal English, not just like any other English course, but a legal English course. Next. Will that be useful for you? How many of you will find that useful? Next. There are a lot of English courses everywhere in the world, right? Everywhere. There are so many English courses everywhere, right? They will not teach you the technical legal English you need to learn. If you're a lawyer, if you're a law student, even if you're a CA or CS, you need a technical legal English that you'll not get from a normal spoken English course. They'll teach you some, excuse me, sir, hello, how are you? But you will not learn to speak like a lawyer. Next one.
Ina is asking something. If she rereads, she gets different interpretation. Will it help?
No, we'll go get to that later. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So can I have the previous slide, Abhyuday?
Yeah.
Okay. So next, they will not teach you. Next slide. They will not teach you how to write like a lawyer. They will not teach you. Uh, can you change Abhyuday, please? To argue like a lawyer, right? They will not teach you how to give a speech like a lawyer. Yes, they will not teach you how to negotiate. They will not teach you how to mediate or how to conduct yourself in an arbitration proceeding. You will not learn how to stand out as a lawyer with amazing communication skills. Okay, this is unparalleled. This course is unparalleled. I'm very proud of this course that we have built. And I went to a Bengali medium, vernacular medium school. I did not, and nobody in my family actually used to speak English, and they could write English like a application in English or something, but they couldn't speak and they didn't have this skill. I didn't go to English medium school. So when I went to college in NUJS for the first time in English medium, I really had to work very hard to learn it myself. Okay. And that is why I know how impossible it is for somebody who doesn't know good English to succeed. And that's why I created this course. And this is the only course you'll ever find anywhere like this. Next. English is the weak link in many lawyers' careers. Okay, they may admit, may not admit. Some people are just arrogant, but English is the weak link in many lawyers' careers. Next. You can't make it to a good law firm unless you have strong English communication, both in speaking and writing, and it has to be perfect. If you make mistakes, it's not going to work. Next. You are likely to be judged by clients, peers, employers, and judges harshly if you do not have good English communication. Have you experienced this? People are being critical, they are judging you harshly because you don't know English, or your English has even a little mistake and people are quick to judge. Does that happen to you? Have you ever experienced? I have experienced a lot. My classmates used to make fun of me because of my pronunciation. Maybe some people still do, I don't care, but I had to get out of that. Next. In high courts or Supreme Court, it is impossible to do well and really succeed and stand out unless you are really good with your English communication. Next. Substantive skills often come after your language skill, and not having good English communication is almost surely going to block your way from having a great legal career. Next. On the other hand, good English communication skills will open up doors for you that otherwise are not available. Next. I am sure we need not convince those of you who are struggling with English proficiency as to why you must learn it. Next. We bring to you the most advanced course for lawyers to learn English speaking, writing, communicating effectively and accurately at a professional level. Somebody was asking if oratory is included. Okay. It's absolutely included. Okay. Oratory is a big focus. Next. If you buy an annual subscription, you only pay rupees 50,000 inclusive of taxes. Please note that we expect to increase the price to around 1 lakh per year in the future. It is right now 50,000 for the 1 year of access. Oratory is being good speech, like giving a speech is oration. As we can serve only a small class size given the way the course is designed. Next. Hard copy material is provided. Okay. Next. Abhyuday, next. And there is a refund policy, 30 to 45 days. If you attend all the classes for 30 to 30 days, and then if you don't like it, or maybe you don't understand, or there is any problem, you can get a full refund, and the refund policy we have shared with you. So you can see that there. Next. So please note that while we are using legal material to teach this course, as legal context is useful for you, we are teaching no law here, right? So that is one important thing. Next one. There is EMI option. Somebody is asking, is there EMI option? Absolutely, there is. Who should take this course? Who will benefit from this course? Abhyuday, can you continue?
Yeah. Lawyers who want to move from practicing law in various vernacular languages. Okay, so if you're in local courts, district courts where you're using your local or state language, and you want to move to practicing in High Court or Supreme Court where English is mandatory. Second category, law students who are struggling to get jobs or internships because language is a barrier. Okay, maybe you make mistakes in your applications, articles, CV, cannot understand, cannot work in fully in English. Lawyers who want to work on their business communication, oratory, and writing skills. You will end up building a whole portfolio of your own work over the duration of this course. It has 3 times the number of exercises and assignments that a normal course has. So it's fully comprehensive. Lawyers who are unable to bag top corporate clients due to lack of polished communication skills. So you're good at law, very good at legal skills, very good with analysis, understanding, but you are not getting top corporate clients because your communication is not very polished. So with English, the communication, all of that is going to be addressed. Next is lawyers or law students. If you studied in vernacular medium and you're not able to access opportunities due to language being a problem. Okay, Ramanuj, you want to share any part of your story here? Or I move on.
No, no, move ahead, move ahead.
Lawyers who want to work in the judiciary or other government jobs, again, English is very important. If you want to get a stable and a well paid job at an LPO, then knowing English will be important. A lot of these LPOs are serving foreign jurisdictions, and you'll have to read a lot of English documents. Lawyers who feel underconfident about their performance due to imperfect grammar, your grammar, sometimes you make mistakes, your syntax, sentence structure, all of that is not fully perfect, or you get judged at the workplace for language errors. Okay, and this impacts your confidence. If that is you, or if that applies to you, this will be relevant. If you're writing IELTS or TOEFL exam, we are teaching you way more than what you need to score well in those exams. It is highly recommended if you are looking to migrate to English speaking countries as a lawyer, or
Yeah.
you're
How
going
many
to.
of you are planning to, do a LLM abroad in USA or UK, right, or in any other English speaking country, and then you realize that your communication skill will be very, very important. You need to perfect your English before you go there to really benefit from those, right? Next.
So
Okay,
what are
so
some of the things?
so
Yeah.
what are the things we teach in the course? I'll quickly run you through this, Abhyuday. Next, develop a powerful vocabulary that helps you to express nuances and finer points of your arguments and ideas precisely, right? Next, how to use the appropriate language for various specific legal scenarios. This is also very important, right? Because language changes in different legal scenarios. Next, effective communication in client counseling, right? You have to be a good client counselor. We'll teach you, give you exercises for that. Next, writing notices and replies, drafting documents in perfect English, command over important technical terms and jargons, communication in mediation. It's very different from how you negotiate, how you do a mediation, very different from how your language will be when you are arguing before a judge, and you have to learn that, right? Even other professionals, if it is connected to legal type, okay, CS, they can also do it, not a problem. Use of language and communication skills in negotiations, right? So we teach enough for IELTS and TOEFL in this course. If you are doing this course, you will be clearing IELTS and TOEFL like it's like, child's play for you if you have done this course. Use of because we teach much more than that. Okay, article writing, because you as a lawyer, you write article, publish. It is a life changing thing, right? Next, communication for business development. How do you communicate with potential business partners, with people who are with clients, right? So how do you do business development? How do you reach out to people? How do you speak to them? We teach even that. Crafting powerful courtroom arguments. What would make a argument strong, right? How to express, you may know the law, but how to express it in a way that it convinces people. So that is also there to be learned. Next, enhancing the delivery of arguments and responding to questions. Next, communication skills for impactful business meetings with corporate clients. Next, how to prepare for meetings and personal interviews. Next, how to give expert opinion or quotes to journalists. Preparation and delivery for job interviews. Effective communication for training juniors. Effective communication with colleagues and reporting managers. Effective communication with CEO, director level business leaders. Okay, how to be effective on YouTube videos and Instagram reels. If you want to do that, how do you communicate? That's very different than arguing before a judge, right? So how do you do that? Next, how to be effective in guest lectures or training sessions. Effective communication for public relations and reputation management. We actually have exercises around these things. How to prepare and strategize for your cross examinations from a communication perspective, right? We are not teaching law, we are teaching communication. Next, okay, how to craft arguments and a lot of things. All these things are there. Next, how to draft effective memos and opinions. Next, how to draft public statements for your client and organization. Next, okay, so now I'm going to tell you how we deliver the course, right? This is some of the things we teach, and now I'm going to tell you how we actually do it. What is the process? How will you learn it? What is it like to do the course? Next, first, you have 3 classes per week, right? At night, for generally for 1 hour, but it usually lasts for longer than 1 hour, and this session will happen. Then next, every week you will work on one writing assignment, one editing exercise, and one public speaking exercise, right? Based on weekly learning objective. We will work on a new theme every month and cover a different legal situation or settings. For instance, if the theme in January would be cross examination, in February it could be job interviews, in March it could be communicating with journalists, and in April you may work on different kind of notices. So it changes, right? Next.
Yeah.
Okay, so that the goal of this course is not to teach you any legal work, but English language and communication skills You need to succeed as a lawyer, and these various legal tasks and situations only provide a context to this language and communication tutorials. Okay. So methodology, if anybody is interested in the technical part of it, it's called an audio-lingual method, right? Using this method, a learner will be able to listen and speak much before reading and writing. Okay. It ensures that the session isn't only focused on textual understanding, but also comprehending a set data. Next. Okay, so then there is oral and situational language teaching. I'm not going to go into all this technical stuff. Let's move. Right, grammar, translation. So task-based language teaching. This is also another important way to teach English, and we follow this. Next, these are extremely interactive sessions. Immersive method, right? So our idea is to get you immersed into the process and in the language, so you start thinking in English. The idea is that how can we make you think in English, right? Focus on assimilation and application. Okay, so next. Okay, weekly charts will be given, an effective implementation of the same will be done. Next. Weekly questionnaires will be shared to check the understanding that you're developing. Next. A stipulated time will be allotted at the end of each class to ensure that doubts, questions are being cleared in each session. Next. So if you are going to book your seat tonight, if you want to do this course, great idea to book your seat tonight. Why? Next. So if you pay 7,000 rupees and book your seat for the course tonight, and then you can, talk to us, do whatever. If you do that tonight, okay, only for those who are attending this workshop, you will get a 2 months course on introduction to legal drafting free of cost, in which you can further practice your drafting skills, right? So that will be really helpful for you. So one thing is to learn the language, and the other thing is practice legal drafting. So you'll get another course, introduction to legal drafting, which is very complimentary. So you will get that as well.
This is
But only if
9,000 rupee
you,
course additional.
it's normally we charge 9,000 rupees, but if you do this course, we'll give this to you because we want to entice you and push you to take the decision today, right? So that's it. And do we guarantee internship? We don't guarantee, Jessica, but people, we have got, like, in the last few months, over 400 of our students got internships. And the reality today is that we are chasing our students with internships, that why don't you do this internship? And they're like, oh, this year we have done enough internships, please leave us alone. Okay, so will help you with internship. We have a placement cell. Our placement cell has become 17 people right now, so we can definitely help you with internships. It's not a problem for us at all to help you with internships. Okay, of course we don't guarantee, because you also have, it's not like we just buy internships and give you, right? It is ultimately they will judge you, what is your behavior, what is your commitment, what is your knowledge. Now, nor can we go home and teach you, right? So we'll do all these things, but you have to ultimately learn. Okay. So Muskan, good, congratulations, you enrolled today for a certificate course. Superb. So another important thing. So this is about the course. So how many of you are interested? Are you interested? Just write, let us know. What does your placement sale consist of? So in our placement sale, we help people to get jobs, internships, and even client work. So many client opportunities are shared with the lawyers who are there in the group. Okay. So all of you who are interested, we have Uzair here with us, right? He's going to reach out to all of you, and you don't have to do much. You just have to, Uzair is just right now, Uzair, can you share in the group the chat, the link of the booking link, so that whoever is interested can go and book the session right now. Okay. And Uzair, can you share your number in the chat? So if anyone wants to speak with you, they can talk to you right now and get their doubts cleared. Okay. We have another workshop on January 10th. That is by me. And we want to talk about how to write and publish article to boost your legal career. Right. So it's going to be very amazing. Uh, you know, Definitely you should look forward to this. Uh, who all want to come for that workshop? Abhyuday, can you skip back the previous workshop, previous page? Yeah, how to write and publish articles to boost your legal career. 3 hours of free workshop again. How many of you want to attend? Super. Awesome. Okay. And I have a webinar on January 5th. Okay. And this is about being judged because your English is not up to the mark. Change that in 3 months. I'll give you a 3 months plan on how you can change that. Okay. If your people are judging you for your English problem, I'm going to give you a roadmap that do these things and you can change it. So join definitely. Who all are joining for the webinar? Yes, no, maybe. Okay. Superb. See you guys there. I know this pain because I have been judged a lot by people. So I know how it is and how to overcome it and how to get out of it. I'm going to show you how. Next. Okay. If you want a certificate for today's workshop, you have to write 5, 6 insights you learned. You have to go and post it on LinkedIn. You have to tag LawSikho. You have to tag me and Abhyuday. And you have to email the link of that post to bhavna@lawsikho.in. It is all the instruction is already given on the registration page, also in your email. The email that you received for registration, there all these things are explained. So you can do this
User, share with everyone.
if you want. So you will get a certificate for the workshop. Next, Abhyuday. And the offer has been shared, right? lawsikho.com/course/offer. So you can go and take advantage of the offer over there. Okay. You can enroll later also. The enrollment will be open on, but this opportunity of getting this extra course of 9,000 rupees free of cost, that is only for people who will book today. You enroll today or at least book your slot today by paying 7,000 and then you'll benefit from this. Okay. Okay, and you can also join our WhatsApp group. If you're already not a part of our WhatsApp group, you should join our WhatsApp group. Okay, can Uzair share the link of the WhatsApp group in the chat, please, and share it also in YouTube. We are live on YouTube, so you can share there as well.
Okay, I'm unable to copy from you. Uzair, please share it here on chat, okay? And drop it on. It is for those who watch us on YouTube. This will be dropped on the page below in the description.
No, description, you put it in the live chat also. Okay,
Huh.
right. Okay, next. Kuch aur hai?
Yeah, we're done.
We're done.
Yeah.
All right. So the end. Great. Thank you everyone for being here. And if you'd like to keep in touch with us, maybe you'll have some question later on. Okay. You can always, you can always go ahead and, follow us on Twitter. You can follow us on LinkedIn. Love to connect with you on LinkedIn and Twitter. Be in touch. Okay. Take care.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great evening. See you and bye.
Okay, Shivam, I have seen your message. You will take care of it. I'll find out what is the matter. Please write to me, ramanuj@lawsikho.in with your complaints, and we'll check if there's what is the problem, what happened, and we'll take this up with our client service team also. Why? I mean, this is very surprising. We'll check what happened. All right, take care, everyone. Have a great day. Bye bye.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.